I'm going to talk about what it takes to get your skydiving license and also cover the different training methods that are available. There's some pros and cons to each method, and we'll cover those. And we'll also tell you about the different types of training materials that are available to you as you go through your training. It takes about 25 jumps to get your skydiving A license. And in order to track your progress through the training, we do have an A license progression card, and I'll show you what that looks like. This will cover everything from ground skills, such as packing, reading winds aloft charts, looking at landing areas and landing patterns, to free fall skills, moving forward in groups, and flying your parachute with different types of canopy skills. You'll also have a 40-question written exam and a 20-question oral exam where we basically ask you questions to measure your understanding of the topics we covered. And at the end of the 25 jumps, you'll have a check dive where we need to see in-air free fall skills and deploying your parachute on time in order to sign you off as an A licensed skydiver. There are really three different types of skydive training. The first one is the tandem progression, and as the name suggests, you'll be jumping tandem for the first 3 jumps. After those jumps, you'll have about 4 more jumps with a single AFF instructor who's jumping with you from full altitude to make sure you're able to get stable and deploy your parachute on time at the correct altitude. Jumps 10 through 25 then are with a skydiving coach who's there to monitor your progress and help you advance in other skill sets. In the accelerated freefall training method, your first 3 jumps are with 2 instructors holding on to you from either side. They're able to help you get stable, deploy your own parachute, and provide immediate feedback through hand signals in order to help you improve your body position. After your jumps with 2 instructors, you'll go down to 1 instructor who monitors your progress and advances you through to get to the point where you're stable enough that you can jump with coaches on jumps 10 through 25. The static line or IAD method is your third option. Where static line and IAD have slight differences, they're pretty much the same training method. This is the method that you're probably more familiar with from military static line jumps, where your parachute deploys as you leave the airplane. Your first several jumps, you don't get the actual free fall experience, but we really focus on teaching you canopy skills, and then you get free fall in later on jumps. And then again, at about jumps 10 to 25, you start jumping with a coach to finish your A license skills. There are some pros and cons to each training method that I want to talk about. With tandem progression, you do get the jumps from full altitude and you're attached to the instructor. One advantage to this is that the instructor can give you immediate feedback in free fall to correct your body position through hand signals and also under canopy. They'll help you guide and steer the parachute for landing and talk you through the different thought processes for the landing pattern. The disadvantage is that some people don't want to go attached to somebody on their first jump. A good mentality that I think when people do tandem progression is they come to me and they say, well, I want to learn, but I do want to be attached to the instructor on the first few jumps. That's when I suggest the tandem progression. The pros on the accelerated training is that your first few jumps are from full altitude. The 2 instructors holding on to you in free fall can give you immediate feedback through hand signals for you to adjust and improve your body position. After your parachute opens, there's no one with you. We are able to assist you a little bit talking to you through the radio. The disadvantage is that you are combining the free fall skills and canopy skills into one jump on your very first jump. And that can be overwhelming trying to do everything in one jump. This is also a more expensive training method because you're jumping with 2 instructors and going to full altitude. If someone says, hey, I want to do everything I can on my first jump and get full altitude and free fall, then the accelerated training method is probably the way to go. The static line IAD training method is a little bit less expensive for training. You're jumping at a lower altitude because your parachute's opening as you leave the airplane. The instructors are there to watch and provide feedback for your exit and also help you with radio on the landing pattern. One advantage to this is that we focus on exit and canopy skills first, and then later focus on free fall skills in later jumps. This way you don't have to combine everything all into one jump. The disadvantage is that you don't actually get the free fall until about jumps 7, 8, or 9, when we start working your way up in altitude to where you get 5 seconds of free fall, then 10 seconds of free fall, then 15 seconds of free fall, till you get to the full altitude free fall. When someone says, I want to save a little bit of money, I'm not too worried about getting free fall in my first jumps, but I still want to get my license in 25 jumps, I really suggest the static line IED method. This is what the A license progression card looks like, and this allows us to track your progression toward getting your A license. In each of the categories, there are different types of skills and knowledge that needs to be covered in order for you to progress on to the next category. In the description below, I have included several links to different materials, the A license progression card, and websites that you'll need to know about to complete your training.